Hi, and welcome back to HRCYED Week 2. This is all of the stuff that I did over the past week, including I took a cheeky little trip to Barnes & Noble, and we successfully didn't get anything. So I just need y'all to know that a random man came up and asked me if I believed in Jesus, and I think it's because he could tell me and Becky were gay. Becky says this one's on Cloud Library, but it reminds me of Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Yeah, doesn't it?
I mean, I know what it's about.
Becky and I read this at the beginning of June, and it actually was pretty good. This edition is really pretty with the sprayed edges. Although I hate it when they do sprayed edges and it's just like one color. Like, that's kind of lame. But it's more like a domestic thriller than a horror novel. This is one of those books that gaslights me into thinking it's lesbians every time. Like, you cannot tell me that is not a woman. That is a woman.
It's horse lesbians.
It's horse lesbians. Like, look. Woman. Gay. So we are buying 2 books, but they're for Big House books because and they're only $2, and the prisoners ask for almanacs really frequently. So, and that's something that you usually have to buy new. So that's why we're picking them up. So they'll have 2 updated almanacs to give out to prisoners. Updated-ish. And now I wanted to get into some other stuff I did this past week. I am really excited. I had a good run in agility class with my dog. It went really well. He listened really good, and it was exciting. So first, I want to talk about everything that I am currently reading. I am currently reading Heartstopper Volume 3. It is really cute. I finished 1 and 2 both in a day. I'll probably finish this one today. And so I've really been enjoying that, and I'll give some more thoughts when I talk about Heartstopper Volume 1 and 2. I am also reading Attached to the Living World, which is an eco-poetry anthology. This is one I forgot to mention last week, but I'm almost all the way through it. This is for my anthology of authors prompt, and it's got several poets in here that I already have books of theirs that I haven't read yet. So that's how I'm going to get through my anthology of authors prompt. And then I'm still working my way through Sugar Run. I have not made any progress, so I don't have anything to tell you all about that, but I will have something to say about it by next week because it's due at the end of the month. So I got to make sure that I get all the way through it. And then I'm still reading Quicksilver. I'm about 60% of the way through, and it has kind of improved for me. I don't necessarily think it's like the best thing I've ever read. It's currently sitting at around like 2.5 stars for me, but it did get a little more entertaining. and it started to make a little more sense. So we're 3 cheers for Quicksilver getting better. And then the last book that I'm reading currently is Eligible by Curtis Sittenfeld. This is part of the books that I am reading for my upcoming Pride and Prejudice video. So I'm on the 3rd out of 5 books for my Pride and Prejudice series. So now I wanted to talk about some crafts that I'm currently working on. I wanted to update y'all on my socks. So I have made progress. They're looking pretty good. And I accidentally was knitting at the wrong gauge, and I didn't realize that until like halfway through the first couple rows. So that's why it kind of like splooges out a little bit. I'm hopeful that it'll work out when I go to block it, but they're on the correct needles now, and I'm really excited for how they're going to turn out. I also wanted to show y'all the actual pattern. So the pattern is by Charlotte Stone. This is what they look like when they're finished, but I'm using gray as my background color, and I'm using a variegated pink as my heart color. So the hearts actually change colors as the pattern goes on. And this is from her series Charming Colorwork Socks. She's got a new book coming out called Whimsical Colorwork Socks. I want it. But I got this one used, and I'm going to have to wait for Whimsical to come out as used before I can get Whimsical. I have not made any progress on my tank top, but we're going to see Chuck Tingle this weekend in Atlanta, and so I'm hopeful that I will finish this today or tonight in order to wear it to go see Chuck Tingle. Because yeah, it's part of his, we're going to see him as part of his Fabulous Bodies tour, and I plan on having a vlog out about that as well, because I think it'll be really fun. And then my last ongoing project is, I knitted this a really long time ago. It's like a headscarf or a neck scarf, but I haven't woven in the ends on it yet. This was just something I whipped up with thrifted yarn that I got a couple months ago. And so I just need to weave in these ends, and then I'll have a cute little headscarf. I hope to have that finished soon as well. So then moving on to things that I've actually finished. I finished the annotated Pride and Prejudice. It was obviously, I mean, you know, it's Pride and Prejudice, so it's fabulous, but I really enjoyed all of the different annotations and stuff, and I've already recorded a lot of thoughts for my upcoming Pride and Prejudice video. So if you're interested in what I thought about Pride and Prejudice, that will be in an upcoming video. I also finished the 4th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which was Gate of the Feral Gods. I really enjoyed it. It got super serious at the end, and I was not kind of prepared, and now I'm kind of anxious to get into the next novel, but I've got so many other things going on that I'm gonna have to wait. So my Dungeon Crawler Carl series is going to have to be put on pause for a little while. I also read Pride, which is one of the Pride and Prejudice retellings. It's a young adult novel. It's relatively short, and it was quick for me to get through. I read it basically in one day. I started it one night and then finished it the next day. It was really good. It was basically like a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but it was in the Bushwick neighborhood of Brooklyn, and kind of talks about race and class and gentrification, which I really enjoyed as like a way to lean into the social inequities that you see in Pride and Prejudice between our primary characters, which would be Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. So if you want any more thoughts about this book, it will also be in my Pride and Prejudice novel. And then I read volume 1 and volume 2 of Heartstopper. I read both of these in a day. They were really cute. I don't really like a lot of really angsty coming out literature or anything like that because I kind of lived it. And so I'm not really interested in reading about what was like a traumatic period in my life. And I know that's not everybody's opinion, but I found that Heartstopper was a really good, like healthy coming out narrative. I think that it's just challenging as a gay person who lives in the South to be really excited about the prospect of coming out or think that like coming out is a heartwarming story. but I think that the way that Heartstopper handled it was very appropriate and also very heartwarming. So then the last thing I wanted to talk about was my finished objects for crafting. So the first thing is I finished, after I've been working on this for months, but this is my cousin's wedding present. And it's an embroidered thing of her dog's face that I commissioned a piece of, like an ugly rendition of her dog. This is what the back looks like. I kind of messed up cutting the circle, so I had to sew it down. And then I messed up sewing it down, so they're kind of like sewed together. But it's okay. You won't see this back part really. It's just so you don't have to look at the lines. But her dog's name is Holly, and my cousin got married to their partner on February 28th of this year, and we drove to Austin for the wedding, and it was supposed to be done at that time, but there was an issue with the pen that I had used, and you can still kind of see it, but I tried to get it off. I'm really excited to mail that off to her soon. And then my last finished object is that I did finish this panel and I pressed it so it looks a lot more respectable. But this is my full panel for my church window quilt. This was the section that I added on, so that's what's different from last week. I also cleaned up the back, so the back has a lot fewer strings hanging out of it. It looks very clean, it looks very crisp, and it lays nice because I pressed it. So I'm really excited to be done with that, but I'm gonna have to wait on actually finishing it, like starting on the other 6 panels, because I need to go buy some more fabric, and I don't have any money right now to buy new fabric. So that's kind of it for my finished objects for HRCYED week 2. I'm really excited for Chuck Tingle's tour. It's part of his Fabulous Bodies tour, and we probably will end up picking up a copy of Fabulous Bodies because he'll sign it. And we're also going to the Atlanta Aquarium, and we're going to hit up a gay lesbian owned bookstore, I think, or a gay woman owned bookstore. So I guess I assumed it's lesbian, but it may not be. And we're going to hit up the lesbian bar. So it's going to be a very gay trip to Atlanta. So expect a vlog coming out sometime about that. So I'm really excited. And yeah, so I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.